thing is that, you gotta use a little bit of common sense, and number one, if you pass a wheel tax, it's gonna hurt. If you cut the budget and cut the allocations, it's gonna hurt. If you're worried about making people mad, you accomplish that. You accomplish that. You did a good job at it too. So don't look at $10, $15, $20. If you got to do it, make them good and bad, get 40. Now, I got some suggestions. You ain't gonna like these suggestions because it makes too much common sense.
Mr. Martin, and I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm gonna go ahead and say this right quick, because last month you made comment 2 or 3 times that we as commission had no common sense. And I'm just curious, I hope what you're getting ready to say makes common sense before you insult us as a full commission again. Because your 3 minutes are up, sir. I'm gonna ask you to be excused and sit down if you insult us again.
Right. This is my common sense. Y'all can, now, one, cut the 2017-18 proposed budget across the board for all departments, 2%, including the school board. And this will balance the budget with a cut of 2% across the board. Then, part 2 of that first suggestion, plan A, is add a wheel tax for 1 year with the revenue earmarked for the reserve fund. This would treat all residents the same, renters and property owners. And wheel tax being $40. That's plan 1. Plan 2, you ain't gonna like. No wheel tax increase. No property tax increase. Cut the proposed 2017-18 budget for all departments, including schools across the board, by 5%. The result is 2017-18 budget is balanced, and you're gonna have about $3 million extra to put into the reserve. Told you what like, but that's what's gonna have to happen. If you put it off and put it off, it's gonna hurt more. Thank y'all for your time.
Okay, Jeff Scott.
I don't get here very often. Make it short, but I agree with you that it affects different people differently, but it does affect everyone. And as citizens, we have had to learn to put off some of our projects that we would like to do until we have the money. And I don't know that, I have no idea what the budget is, but a wise insurance man once told me that you can't sign a release for something that hasn't happened yet. So a budget projection doesn't hold any water until the budget is the budget. And we sat here earlier at this meeting and talked about adding people to the industrial board to encourage people to come here, but yet we're gonna have the highest wheel tax east of Knoxville of any county. And I don't know how that's gonna float because people are going to go other places where the cost of living is cheaper. And the other part of that is $40 for me is not a big deal. However, it can be a big deal for other people. But when you look at what you're getting for the money you're spending, are we getting our money's worth as taxpayers?
Would you like Commissioner Vaughn to read you? There's 91 agencies right here.
I understand.
Would you like
And I
him
have
to read
been in
those?
part of that. The last
And
time
you-
I was here
And you
was
pick out
over
what's non-essential.
was over a 10% cut down the budget for emergency services, and that's been 9 or 10 years ago. And I'm not sure, but I think at that time, or at some time in the past, I heard that when the wheel tax was originally passed in Hawkins County, it was guaranteed that there would never have to be another increase to fund the county.
I don't know what.
I'm pretty sure I heard that read in the minutes when I was here before. And I'm not sure that, you know, having been a past chief of the fire department and an ex-veteran, yada, 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 I'm not going to go here and review everything I've done. But I think that every citizen out there deserves to know that their money is being spent wisely. and that every penny that goes out of there is not used to fund blue sky projects, that it actually does mean something when that money is spent. And like the man said here before, what about next year and the year after that? At some point, everybody has to learn to live on the money that they take in. And, you know, as citizens, if you drive everybody out of the county and you discourage people from coming here because the tax rate's higher than everywhere else, how are you gonna get the teachers that you need to teach school when you can't fund that? How are you gonna get industry to come here when you can't get employees because they went somewhere else? How do you grow something by decreasing the net effect of the money they're spending? I'm done.
Without industry, you know, residential property taxes, when you have an abundance of growth in population, then what you end up with is an abundance of growth with school kids. So therefore, you gotta have more schools. And you also, when you increase population, then you increase your crime rate. So therefore, you gotta have bigger jails. And without industry, and folks, I'm gonna tell you something right now, it's political suicide to even mention it. But if you go to every surrounding county around us, you'll find that they've got one thing that Hawkins County don't have, and that's countywide zoning. And without countywide zoning, you're not gonna get any industry in Hawkins County, because corporate people is not gonna invest their money without zoning to protect their investment that they spent their money on. And that's it. I mean, that's why you go and you look at Washington County, you look at Greene County. I think Mr. Hampton said he works over there. You go look at Sullivan County, go look at Hamlin County. All these places are growing. You know why they're growing? They've got one thing. They've got countywide zoning. And we don't have it. And until we get it, I don't care how much money you throw to the industrial board, they don't have the one key thing to work with, and that's zoning. Bottom line.
Get familiar. Very distasteful thing to speak about. First, right off, I respect each and every one of you for what you have to face here, and appreciate the difficulty that you're looking at. And I've spoken here twice before. Attitudes seem to change a little bit as each meeting I come to. I still maintain that this wheel tax should not pass. My daddy always taught me, as far as property tax goes, that is a value asset. Property tax is based on value. Your community, your taxes are adjusted accordingly to other properties that are similar to yours. To raise a property tax, I'm getting the wheel tax. To raise a property tax to get revenue is unconscionable. You shouldn't do that to these people. Wheel tax should be, the term wheel and tax should be eliminated from county government. That is, wheel tax is over. That was originated in Knoxville as a safety tax for some kind of vehicle safety recommendation by county government. These people will pay a tax. They will pay their fair share, and they have been, but they want something for the money. You gotta live within the realm that you live in the real world. And this is the real world. This is not the real world. You can't go here and say, we're out of money. We're gonna have to decrease service.
Let me stop you. Do you know what an unfunded state mandate is?
No, I don't.
An unfunded state mandate is things that state imposes on the county that the county has to fund.
Right.
That has increased.
They tell you what you're gonna do, but.
Your tax base stays the same.
But your tax base stays the
Tax
same,
base
so
stays
we
the
have to
same.
fund it.
This is the problem. The tax base doesn't grow. It's not going anywhere. And you gotta keep going to the well to grab more money. You have to do it to run the county. You understand that. And that's an unfortunate reality.
Going back to the budget issues, Sheriff, can you cut
can you cut any personnel whatsoever?
No way I can give her that, my source report says.
The sheriff's department can't budge off their budget, and the school system, which we cannot line. The county commission gets an up or down vote with the school system. They present their budget, if we don't like it, we can't line item, we just vote it down. Now, it gets to the point to where we pass our deadline and the state says, sorry, they're gonna get it. The sheriff's department's gonna continue to operate, the school system will continue to operate. Everybody else, go home. And we're in dire straits. And I know that a few years ago, we approved, 18 positions for sheriff's department. And it's personnel that he needed. But that had to be done, and we did. So now we're living with the consequences of some of the decisions that we made that we honestly felt was for the best of the community. And I don't know of anybody that has been able to complain that I've heard, that they don't believe the sheriff's department's doing a good job. We've got an EMS crisis. I know everybody's heard that, they're tired of hearing about it, but it's coming. It's coming fast, and you're gonna have some funding available to deal with that. There's some major issues, there's some great ideas that have come forth that we've heard, and I'm telling you, I'm being as honest as I can. I wish that I could grandstand this and tell you, I'm opposed to this, we've got to do this, we've got to do that, and I believe that the budget committee will continue to look at those things. They cut over 510,000?
It's over 500,000.
$510,000 from the public buildings.
Now, that was taking away of projects that will have to be done. We just basically, like Commissioner Lincoln said, we've kicked that on down the road.
Well, when I first
We're gonna have to do those.
When I first came on, commission, they had kicked down the, contributions, the line items to public buildings to where there were some significant issues that had to be addressed. And we really boosted that up, and we got a lot of stuff done. I was on the building committee at that time. A lot of things that had to be done were done and addressed. And since then, it's been pulled back. They pulled it back significantly. At some point, as Commissioner Vaughn stated, it's gonna have to come back. School system. You guys, when I first come on as commissioner, you had some major projects that had to be dealt with, and you dealt with that. So if the school system can't budge, sheriff's department can't budge, we're kind of in a chokehold. So I appreciate what the budget committee has done. They've had an uphill battle. I think they've done well with what they've had, and I know they'll continue to look for things. And I don't like this wheel tax. I hate it. I don't like it one bit, but it's due or die time. So something's gonna have to be done. I can't sugarcoat it no better than anybody else can. It's gonna be a wheel tax or it's gonna be a property tax increase.
We ready to vote?